All right, everybody, it is another episode of Curbcast here. It is Tobin and Robbie the Degenerate, another episode in the books, Robbie, as we have now gotten to episode 8 of the season. Only 2 left.
Yeah, only 2 left.
Only 2 left between Larry David and his crew. Now, we started off this week because we talked about last week Mark Hochman's review. If you guys don't know, he's afternoon drive host on 790 The Ticket, and for 3 of those hours on 560 The Joe, they have a simulcast. And he is so angry at this season and upset. So once again, we get a preemptive strike this week where he tells us terrible episode, so lazy, all of this stuff. And, you know, there's no way we could defend it. Boring episode of television. And it comes to find out, we find out that Hochman has been, he then rescinds his review and says that he rewatched the episode today. A great episode. Turns out I was on Ambien. Well, now I don't know about his review. It seems like it loses all credibility because
he's been tainted this whole time.
It could have been swayed by Ambien this entire season. So maybe he would have loved this season. I don't know.
He must do the whole season all over again.
This is an episode that starts off at Jon Hamm's house, at Jeff's house, and they start off by letting him know that Jon Hamm is taking a movie role. He wants to follow Larry around. He's going to follow him around, do some research for the role. We also find out that Jeff and Susie have been at odds.
Yeah,
which is surprising after all these years. Yeah. This is finally the year where they just can't get along anymore. I mean, they really just. I don't know who could be married to Susie. She is.
Oh God,
she is tumultuous. Like she is. She goes in there and she has got something to say about something on everything. And Jeff feels like he's Teflon. I can't believe that this is the time where they're finally at odds and not getting along well. Although it does seem like Jeff has been he's fine just sticking around and trudging along. It's maybe Susie who gets to her last wits with him. But
and that's why maybe Larry David thought that Susie was trying to murder him.
Was trying to murder him.
Surprise party.
That's right. Forgot about that. That Susie was trying to murder him and plot this all along. So they're at odds right now, and we learn that Cheryl, she comes in with Susie after Jeff's like, hey, we're having problems. So Cheryl walks in there. We know that her and Larry have been circling around more this season, but she lets Larry know that, remember that house that we bought for my sister, Becky? She's selling it, and so Larry immediately is to the point where he's like, "Well, great, gonna make a little money." She goes, "What do you mean? What do you mean? I bought the house. I want my money back. I want some money back for this." He goes, "I'm not comfortable having that conversation."
He said, "Oh yeah, believe me, I'm comfortable.
I'm comfortable." And this is another thing where it's been like Larry.
And also in that the women, Susie and Cheryl, they were arguing. Said, "No, it's her house. She gets to have the money." And Jeff was siding with Larry David.
Right. Yeah, and so this is just the one Saul of Jeff taking Larry's side on this, and so he's very comfortable having the argument as far as the house is concerned. And so this is the thing, like he is comfortable going out and getting his money for principal. Like he'll spend the money on the Spite store. This has been a big contention of our friend, where he goes, why is he spending all this money on a Spite store, but he cares about $500 that he lost to somebody? It's like because all of Larry David, it is not about the money, it is about the principle of the money.
Like he felt like he was wronged out of that $500. Be it that it was only $500, he felt that he was wronged considering he lost out to Richard Lewis and his friend when Richard Lewis was cheating at putting.
So he wants that $500 from the beyond.
And he'd be willing to risk getting inside not getting the magical trigon to get his $500.
I think we're good in here. We're soundproof, so we could just say the magical vagina.
Okay,
that's fine. Okay. We had to keep it clean. The last episode we were doing it. For people who watch on YouTube, they'll notice like these guys are never in the same studio. We're never in the same studio. First of all, one dude from Power 96, he's hog-holed the production studio. He's in there all the time now, so we never get to go in there. He's out there doing who knows what for the entire time, and so we've been moving from studio to studio, just kind of plotting ourselves along to get things right. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So he's out to lunch with Jon Hamm, and he's starting to learn about what he's doing it. And he goes, "Listen, if I could follow you around, I'd really appreciate it." And Larry David then goes with his problem of, "Listen, what is this appreciate it? You think that you just say appreciate it,
everything goes away.
The C's part, everything's fine." And I gotta say, spot on with this, because I mean, people throw that all the time. Like they think like when the person knows they're wrong, but they're using you for something, and they just go, "Well, no, but I appreciate it." it really shouldn't just be the end all be all of it. Like you should, I feel like there should be some restitution when it comes to making somebody uncomfortable or something like that. Because go ahead.
No, I'm saying when you just say appreciate, it's kind of like guilt tripping them into doing something you want.
Right.
It's almost a form like a please on steroids. You say please, you're kind of like, all right, they say please, I gotta do it. Now you say please, I appreciate it.
Right.
It's like, oh, bro,
that's a great way of putting it. A please on steroids. Like, he said. He means appreciate? Really? Oh, you would? And I notice I'll do that too on text sometimes. I'll do this like when I'm kissing ass for producing shows a lot of the times when I'm trying to get people on.
Yes, yeah.
I'll be like, he's like, thank you. I appreciate it. I will double that. It's almost like I'm saying the same thing. Why don't I just say thank you? And but I want to be extra schmarmy. I'll be like, I appreciate it. It's like, okay, great. Thanks. Then we have one of the moments of the episode where he's looking over the menu. And he goes,
it's a large menu.
It's a large menu. He goes, I'm just going to ask them what they want. And Jon Hamm goes, well, why? He goes, they're the experts. And there's a table full of Chinese people at a Chinese restaurant. He goes, what'd you get? He goes, well, why do you want to know? He goes, because you know. You know.
You're the experts.
You're the experts. You're the experts. He goes, why? Because we're Chinese? He goes, well, yeah. Yeah, you guys would know. He goes, why don't you just look at the menu?
And he starts going off. Like, if I see a fat person and a skinny person, I'm going to ask the fat person what he thinks what I should get. He's going to know more about eating than a skinny person.
100%. I would ask a fat person's opinion on a restaurant way more than a skinny person. Yeah. What do I care? Because I know that a skinny person's probably going to a restaurant. They're not indulging in the finer
counting calories.
Yeah, I can't take that opinion seriously. No way. So then he moves on. A lot of moving around in this.
That moment, I think, is when Jon Hamm first picks up. Like, oh, this is what
Larry David's all about. Yeah, he's taking it all as the great actor that Jon Hamm is, which is, I guess, from Mad Men. Like, what is Jon Hamm's resume outside of Mad Men?
He was in Clear History, that Curb movie, that Curb movie.
Oh, he was. That's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. He's also a huge St. Louis Blues fan. I remember seeing him. It was during the Stanley Cup Finals. Mad Men's a good show. It's fine. It tapers down a little bit as the years go on, but everybody oh my God, the women love Jon Hamm. Oh. That show had some lookers. I'm not gonna lie. That show had some lookers. So they end up at this newsstand, and and so he's at the newsstand guy who I feel like they've been at this before. This is where the Uncle Moke. Yeah, they were at the same newsstand, and they're like, listen, you browse, you buy.
Yeah.
So Larry's looking at it, and he's asking the guy. He goes, listen, he goes, you ever get to the bathroom? He goes, I'll watch your stand for you. Go do your thing, And so the guy's very appreciative that Larry will watch the stand while he's able to go to the bathroom and relieve himself. And as he goes, Richard Lewis stops by while he's on shift, and he learns that he wants to bring his girl. We haven't had dinner in a while. I want to bring my girl to a dinner, and he goes, no. No, he goes, but I would appreciate it.
Yeah, he tried to pull the move.
Wouldn't work. So that didn't work.
And Jon Hamm was the one who called him out on it. He's like, oh, yeah, you see, he's doing this.
Trying to do the thing.
Yeah.
Jon Hamm realized. So Jon Hamm, he's getting his Larry David wheels in motion. It's fantastic. So we go from there. Then we get back to the house. He's at the house with Leon.
Don't forget the dude, the newsstand guy comes back. He's went. That was a $10 piss.
That was a $10 piss. That's a $10 piss. And all of a sudden, boom, light bulb goes off in Larry's head. So he's back at the house with Leon, and he goes, listen, I think I've stumbled upon a great business opportunity here. There's plenty of places. People need to pee. You go toll booths.
Parking lot attendants.
Shoe shine people. Where do they go? How can they go pee? I don't know why shoe shine people couldn't go pee. Like, wouldn't you just be able to go pee when somebody's not getting a shoe shine?
Yeah.
Who's getting a shoe shine these days anymore?
Exactly.
I don't know. But toll booth, 100%. Although I feel like
most toll booths are getting eradicated by the automatic, scanner.
That's true. There aren't many toll booths anymore. But it's got to be a crazy business where you just can't leave. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, like the newsstand guy. You had to stay there. He has to guard the newsstand.
You wear like on the old school Sun Pass here. You got the ugliest shirts known to man. You're always watching those people. I stopped dealing with toll booth people a long time. I went toll booth played a long time ago. I mean, first of all, I had Sun Pass forever because I have been biting the bullet on my Sun Pass for, I don't know. It's like one of the great luxuries I've had in life because I live right on the turnpike. I'm not driving. I already have a long drive to work. I'm not making it longer going on 95. Yeah. That can go straight to hell.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
No way. Yeah. That's neither here nor there. So So they come up with this great
they're
idea.
throwing names out there first, and they're throwing names out there about what they want to start a business idea where you call people like it's an app, and you use the app and say, hey, I need to go to the bathroom. You dial in the app, and then somebody comes in and relieves you at your shift.
Right.
The first name they threw out there was Poober.
And
it sounded too much like Uber.
And Pimazon.
Pimazon
And Poober. Yes. And then Larry goes, call it, gotta go. And so that's
gotta go, and it's catchy.
It's catchy. Gotta go. And so they got the light bulb goes off, and that's where they're going to. So we go from there. Then we go to Cheryl's house, Becky, and the place is a mess.
The sister,
looks terrible.
No, it does look terrible. And she's trying to sell the house.
She's trying to sell the house. It's on the market.
Clothes everywhere, food everywhere,
and she is. We learn that she hates Cheryl. I mean, Cheryl alluded to it in the opening scene of the show, but she really hates it. She's happy that her and Ted Danson didn't work out.
She calls herself a Margaret. And
so she's happy with Cheryl and Ted Danson aren't getting along, calls her Little Miss Perfect. And then Larry has the comfortability to bring up, listen, you're selling the house, and I'm going to let you keep the profits, but I want my investment back. And this just sends her off into just a complete meltdown.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a job. Her boyfriend left her. She's having. Now I thought we were gonna have like another professional crying thing on hand, where she was gonna be as soon as he caved on it. I thought she was gonna be like, thank you, okay, good. We move on. I thought we were gonna have another situation like that, but it seemed like that she was genuinely moved by Larry's compassion, because he's like, all right, you can keep everything. But it led to them having sex.
Yeah,
they had sex in the house that Larry and Cheryl bought for her. They have sex at the house, and Larry is back after they have sex. They're back at Jeff's house, and Jeff and Larry's just saying how much he loves day sex.
It's like, it should never be at night. Like, I got so much more energy now. It should always be during the day.
Which is not wrong. It definitely has its benefits. But Cheryl finds out like immediately, because Becky apparently ratted to Cheryl.
She has to brag about it. Team Petty
bragged it. She wants to hurt Cheryl. They don't like each other, so Cheryl finds out immediately Larry had sex with her, and so she's upset. Susie's with her. She's upset with Larry David that Larry would have sex, and Larry goes at her and he goes, "Oh, you're mad at me? You did the same thing.
I crossed the line that you already crossed."
He tries to equate her having sex with Ted Danson, his friend, with him having sex with Becky,
or his sister.
Now, Jeff is like, yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same betrayal.
Ted Danson's like my sister.
It's Ted Danson is like my sister, and then Jon Hamm walks in. Jon Hamm walks in because he's got to do his research. He goes, no, I'm not even here. Fly in the wall, but then immediately says, he's right. It is like the same thing. You crossed the betrayal first. Which is crazy. It's not even close to the same thing. I don't even have a sister or a brother. I'm an only child, but I couldn't even imagine saying that a friend is in the stratosphere as a sibling. It's crazy talk. So they're all upset. Everybody sides with their own side. Susie and Cheryl, they're
women
upset
side
with
the women, the men side with the men.
Right. And so they move on, and
Jon Hamm, he's writing all this down. He's like, this is good.
This is good. We know. Listen, he's a good method actor. He's learning on the fly. He's got everything going for him. Jon Hamm. He knows what's going down. So then Jon Hamm and Larry, they end up going to dinner with Richard Lewis, and Richard Lewis is upset because Jon Hamm is here. How come I couldn't bring Michelle, my girlfriend? And so she told Larry, she goes, how upset she was. I had to tell her that you had a bleeding rectum.
he's like, that's the worst excuse possible. You could have called me. I could have think like 1,000 things better than that.
Bleeding rectum. And so he's like, I can't believe this is what you came up with. And in the meanwhile, Richard Lewis is just tearing into what looks like hummus.
Yeah, it looks like a hummus.
Looks like hummus and flatbread. And Jon Hamm points out, because he's turning into Larry David, he goes, "You're going over your appetizer a lot, man." Which I gotta know from you. For those who listen to our show, they know that Robbie has some really interesting eating quirks. And what I mean by quirks is, won't eat until somebody breaks the seal. He won't eat until somebody eats first. No man left behind. So if we're at a group meal together, there shan't be a crumb left. No man left behind. what is your appetizer protocol when it comes to share? First of all, I don't love sharing appetizers unless it's just me, the wife, and the family, like our little foursome. Mm-hmm. But if I am at a group meeting with everybody, what is your protocol for appetizer allotment?
Oh, it's an unwritten rule. Like, if you're having wings and there's 2 people and there's 10 wings, you have 5 and 5. You do a wing count, and maybe you could get the extra one if someone's feeling a little full, or you watch that wing for a while.
You gotta wait till somebody says go ahead, right?
Yeah, wait till somebody says go ahead, you gotta get the go ahead, or if they're about to throw it away, you say, oh no, wait, I don't want that. I'll take that last wing. Then it's fair game. And if there's 3 people, you're sharing a large appetizer, and you general a third of the appetizer. Don't go past your allotment. It's an unwritten rule. Nobody ever calls anybody out about it until Richard Lewis did it. And then Jon Hamm's like, hey, bro, you've gone over your
allotment is over. Damage is done, my friend.
And he's like, what do you mean with allotment? And Larry David's like, yeah, bro, it's an unwritten rule.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows. So Jon Hamm is turning into Larry David before our very eyes. We then go to, let's see. Oh, we're back at Larry's house. And Jeff, he is in front of the door. He lets Larry know that Susie's kicked him out
because he sided with him.
Because he sided with Larry, and so he goes, "You stay as long as you want." He goes, "Listen, you keep having sex with Becky as long as you want. The longer you have sex with her, the less I have to go home." So he's happy. He's glad to be out of that house. In the meanwhile, he's in the car with Leon, and then he's dealing with the bleeding rectum rumors that Richard Lewis has started up, but they're in the hunt. They're going to go find places where they can pitch their business. Got to go to everybody. They're going to parking attendants. They're like, listen, you got to go. Parking attendant takes them up on it.
Like, I gotta go right now, bro.
Yep. They go to a shoe shiner, valet, and it's going. Look, business looks like it's booming.
Yeah, Leon comes in with a wad of cash afterwards.
Yep, wad of cash. Even though he was a terrible shoe shiner because he's literally spitting on somebody's shoes. He goes, what is that? He goes, a spit shine.
You can't pay for that. I believe they had like $1 a minute, and minimum of 5 minutes, or that was the rate.
Right. So he's cruising through that, and then we end up with Larry. He's back at Richard and Michelle's dinner party.
Oh boy!
And so she thinks he's a bleeder. She thinks he's a bleeder. They have not. He is not. Richard Lewis has not put down these rumors at all. She doesn't know that he's relieved, and that was the thing with Larry. He's like, well, when is she going to know I'm better? When is she ever going to know that I'm better with the rectal bleeding? You don't know. And so she's eyeballing Larry the entire time because he's hovering on the couch. He's thinking about going on to be on the arm, and she thinks that that's a bleeding rectum.
Yeah,
that's going to ruin.
It's going to get through the pants. Get into the couch.
That's going to ruin my couch. She gives him a wood chair at the dinner, which is just humiliating because he's the only guy who gets a wood chair.
Yeah,
makes no sense at all.
Yeah, because she gave everybody assigned seats.
Right. So immediately he calls Richard Lewis into the kitchen. He goes, "Listen, you better clear this up right now, or I'm blowing this story sky high. Let's get out. I'll let him know that you've been lying this entire time." So he goes. Listen, when you ask her about giving me the chair, just tell her I'd really appreciate it. He goes, "You think that'll work?" And sure enough, she goes in there. And he brings Michelle into the kitchen. He goes, "Listen, he'd really appreciate it." She goes, "He said that?" Like she was really touched.
Yeah,
really touched that Larry said he'd really appreciate it. So she falls for it. She's a sucker. She's an appreciated sucker.
And by the way, she had said that her thing before why he had the wooded chair was that the set only came with 7 chairs.
Came with 7.
Which is so odd.
Which is ridiculous.
It's an odd number.
I honestly, I don't even know. Sets that come with 8 are a little bit odd to me. I feel like sets mostly come 4 or 6.
Yeah.
I guess living at like a big ass bougie Los Angeles home, you would have 8 chairs, but 7 chairs is weird.
Yeah, 7 chairs. That was the excuse.
That would never happen because normally what we would do is, I worked at a furniture store forever, and it would be like, you get the standard 4 set, or you could buy the extra 2 and you get the leaf. That's how it would go.
Leaf. Wow.
You extend it a little bit for Thanksgivings and whatnot. So there's that, and then
she goes to the garage. Oh, look what I found!
Look what I found. He asked another Chinese guy at the table for advice on the food. I guess they're eating Chinese food at the time, and he's completely fine giving him advice.
Yeah, do you pick up the bowl first, or do you eat first?
Yeah, he had no problem. But the other thing is, he's trying. Do you remember what he was trying to eat at the thing on that little?
It was
thing?
that shrimp. It was that. It was that. He was like he was talking about that whatever that shrimp that was.
It was like walnut shrimp or something like that. And so they go, "Hey, can you spin the lazy Susan over to me?" Which I didn't even know that was I've heard lazy Susan before.
I've always known that's what it was called.
I didn't know that was what it was called. I've never heard. I didn't know. I gotta tell you, it looks like a very convenient item. Spinning it looks fantastic. I want to get one of those. I don't have a table that's really necessarily big enough for one of those, or I've never. The only time I have people over for dinner that much would be Thanksgiving. That looks like a really handy thing.
Yeah, you don't have to reach over and pass the mashed potatoes.
You can spin it around.
Just spin it around the lazy Susan.
But who is that? That's Larry's cousin.
His cousin. Yeah,
that's his cousin.
Yeah.
So. And that's the one that he did the talking for, right? Like, isn't that where we've seen her before?
Oh,
this season.
Yeah, well, yeah, and before earlier in the season,
she put on the women's thing, right?
She went on the women's function. Larry David had to do a doodle for her, and he did a terrible doodle, and she threw it in the garbage, and she insulted him for the doodle.
She goes, "Oh, you didn't look at this. Look at this doodle that was done." He goes, "That's not a doodle. That's art.
That's art."
So
yeah, him and his cousin are arguing back and forth on which way the lazy Susan should be spun, and who should get it first.
And she's offended by the term lazy Susan, and he goes, "Why?"
Jon Hamm goes, "What is it racist to Susans?"
Yeah, he goes, "You want adequate Susan, ambidextrous Susan,
industrial Susan, ambidextrous? Oh yeah, it goes both ways."
So they're arguing over it. They spin it, and then the sauce goes flying. Now everybody sees the sauce. I don't understand how. Apparently, except for Michelle, she sees red stain on the chair. She thinks that Larry has rectally bled all over her.
Yeah, the sauce, you could clearly see the sauce in the white cup of the sauce fly into the air, and he's moving out of the way, and it lands on the chair.
She doesn't care. I think she just wanted to kick him out no matter what anyway. Damage is done, my friend. She wants him out.
And she kicked out Jon Hamm, too. He's like, hey,
you get out, Jon. And he's like, hey, we just got kicked out. Badge of honor for them. Larry then gets a call that from Becky. She broke her leg in Denver.
Yeah, she was skiing.
Yeah, and he goes, first flight out, which obviously this did not turn out to be the case because he gets on the phone with his travel agent, and first flight out wasn't good enough for him.
Well, because the only seat they had was a 16E, and it was a middle seat in coach, and he's like, I think rows 1 through 4,
right?
Not till 9 p.m. I'm on that flight.
On it. I'll take it. So in the midst of this, though, so Larry's so he's going to first get to Becky by 9 p.m., so however long that's going to take from L.A., imagine. So he's trying to get there in the middle of the night. He then gets home, and as he's driving home, he gets a call from Leon that he's double booked. Yeah. He's double booked and got to go.
Yeah, the shoe shiner's taking forever to come back.
Shoe shiner's got some food.
It's a $40 piss.
Yeah. He's going on. He's got some food poisoning. And then our friend from the newsstand, he's also in trouble. So he goes to Jeff. He goes, Jeff, I need you to spot for me. He goes, I can't do it.
Got my sweats on.
He goes, can't. Sweats are on. I'm done. Decompress.
What do you mean sweats are on?
Because you can't just go. He goes, they're on. It's over. The day's over. So Jeff is incapable of helping Larry. So he goes to the newsstand himself, hoping that he can go make his flight. The guy goes. He's also taking a $40 piss. He's taking forever.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Jon Hamm comes out of nowhere. And so Jon Hamm says that he'd gladly relieve Larry of his duties, so he's able to get off to the plane. Yep. Now, in the midst of this, Jon Hamm is minding the newsstand. Cheryl walks by. He goes, "You were married to Larry, huh?" And so he wants to do research. He wants to get to know. So he goes and he's like, "Oh, can we go get some coffee?" So she goes, "Yeah, of course, we can go get some coffee." And they move it on over to.
He ditches the uniform and leaves it in the newsstand. It's completely abandoned.
Stand is abandoned.
Skateboarder
comes, takes a magazine, and all hell's going to break loose there. But while they're there, Larry is trying to get to the airport. He's cutting everybody in line, and then
he's like, "I'm not a cutter. I'm normally not a cutter.
I'm not a cutter." But what happens is he ends up to the front of the stands, and again he ends himself. He goes, are you guys a couple?" And it's an African American, a couple of black people there, and they're like, "Well, why do you think we're a couple?" He goes, No. I thought that, two people standing next to each other. He goes, it could be someone with a yarmulke and a Muslim next to each other. I think that they could be a couple. I think they could be a couple. I don't know. And so the security guard, the TSA agent, is also black. He's looking at this whole thing going down in front of him. He scans Larry's boarding pass. He goes, sorry, sir. You've been randomly selected for security. He goes,
for search.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know.
He goes, it's like, no, I didn't know that there were a couple. And he's like, oh, and he's like, oh no, it's nothing to do with that.
Sir, has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with it. So he misses his flight to Denver, and so he's gonna get the first flight out. And Jeff goes, oh, the first flight out. He goes, the second flight out, first class.
Of course, yeah. And then in the meantime, he's grilling Jeff like, what would make you get off from sweats? Like, does that have to be what kind of emergency would it have to be for you to get up from sweats? I mean, once you have your sweats on, like, do I get in a car accident? what if And Jeff's like, well, how did you get in this accident? Oh, well, I was eating pizza and the skin fell out of the pizza and I went to pick it up and I got hit by the car. What? You're gonna pick up you're gonna pick up that cheese to put it back on the pizza and eat it.
So so he's going back out there. So in the meanwhile, while he's missing his flight, we get to Mocha Joe's, and Jon Hamm. Jon Hamm has gone full circle. He is now officially Larry David because he's upset with the table, wobbly table. He's got the scones that aren't scones.
They're soft. They're like a muffin.
He keeps calling him. He goes, that's a fresh scone. And Mocha Joe's insistent. And we're back at episode 1, where it all started. He even gets to the point where he's getting this. He goes, "Is this hot coffee to you?" And Jon Hamm does the nose test.
Says, "Why am I not feeling anything?"
It'd be great if Jon Hamm the next episode, if he's opening up a Spite store.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Java John's.
Oh yeah, Mocha John's. Yeah.
So he's turned into Larry. Gets banned. Cheryl walks out on the date because she doesn't want to date Larry David.
So you've turned into Larry David.
She was hoping that he would be Jon Hamm. End up in Denver, and Becky is there, leg on up, propped on up. And she goes, "It's been a full 24 hours." He goes, "Where have you been?" He goes, "Oh, the flights.
There weren't any flights.
There weren't any flights." He goes, "There weren't any flight. Weren't any first class flights." So she goes, "You wouldn't ride in a coach seat for me?
A 2-hour coach seat.
A 2-hour coach seat for me?" And then he claims that he has a bleeding rectum, and that's why he didn't take the flight, because the coach seats aren't as comfortable as the first flight. So she did not buy this, and she was upset, and that was that. Yeah. So I again thought it was a wonderful episode.
Best one since the first episode.
You thought so?
Best one since the first.
Best one since the first one.
Yeah.
It was a really good one. I enjoyed it very, very much. I liked Jon Hamm. I thought it was funny adding him. I like him turning into Larry David. And I mean, I think it's been a fantastic season. Like, I know it's been very mixed, and I think people are saying maybe this is one of the weakest in a while. Look, even if that is the case, I mean, the weakest Curb is one of the strongest shows on television. I mean, I think it's a guarantee of, like, now it's getting 40 minutes, so it's like, 40 of those minutes I'm spending 25 of them or even more that laughing. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, and then they're going places that you wouldn't think that they would go, and they were dope because Larry David, he's comfortable in broaching all these awkward situations, and it's just like you wouldn't think that he would do it, and he does, and it's hilarious.
Well, that is our episode of Curbcast, everybody.
Only 2 left
for this season, and we're loving this, man. It's every episode we even go a little bit longer. It's been fantastic. Having a fun reviewing these, Robbie. So we will be back next week reviewing the next episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Thanks for listening.